How is it going, Bears fans? Welcome back to another episode of Beared Down Uncut, the show where we talk everything Bears every day of the week. Today, in episode number 152 of Uncut, we're going to be breaking down day 15 of Chicago Bears training camp. Andy Dalton had a solid day, and the defense dominated. We're going to be breaking down each and everything that you guys need to know from day 15 of in-person training camp today. Before I hop into this one and introduce myself and my co-hosts, I would like to say you guys have been crushing it on the support recently, almost 1.5K views on both of the last two training camp videos. We have another game coming up in just a couple days against the Bills. If you want more content, the most comprehensive Bears coverage on the web, do us a favor wherever you are listening, drop a like, subscribe, follow us. We appreciate your guys' support a lot. I am your host, Chris and Parth, today to talk about another day of Bears training camp that I attended in person. I am joined with my co-host, Parth Shaw. Parth, are you there? I see that you have removed yourself and your microphone. All right, he's not there, but I was at training camp today. Definitely an interesting day. It's always such a barn burner when you get out there and actually get to Hallis Hall. But there's a lot to talk about, and I think there's no better spot to start when talking about today than right here. Andy Dalton had a solid day and definitely outperformed Justin Fields. Parth, I'm going to bring you back in. What's going on, my man?
What's up?
Jump into this.
Yeah, no, I just moved here to Bloomington, back at campus, and it's just been a hassle, moving in. We got a new bed up. I just put it up. Just put this desk up yesterday.
Let's see it. You just showed me.
I got to do a little turn. I'll try it. I got to put the mattress up still. That actually just got here. That's why.
Is that a queen bed?
It's a full.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, I got lucky. I got lucky with the big room in the house. So I got my TV actually right behind me. So it's a nice little setup. So, yeah.
You've always got the TV set up where you can see it in the bed, but
I'm always watching TV.
Yeah. Anyways, Andy Dalton had a solid day. Going back on that, definitely a better day than Justin Fields. And I'll get to Fields a little bit later, but Dalton was pretty sound today. I mean, completing a lot of deep passes, had a really nice deep ball to Marquise Godwin that slipped through Godwin's hands. There were drops today all over offensively. This was the sloppiest practice I've seen from the Bears offense so far that I've been at in person, without a question. But Dalton was definitely the better quarterback on the day. Definitely looked better than the Trubisky-Foles tandem from 2020. And I've been saying it the whole way through that when Dalton does get playing time, I do think he'll be better than the two of those guys were in 2020 for however long he sees and hits the field. So he had a solid day today, was pretty refined in all of his drills, and overall looked good. Now for Justin Fields, on the other hand, he didn't have the greatest of days, had a lot of passes batted down. The defense was dominant today, and one thing I will say before I dive more into a little bit of analysis about Fields is that his receivers were not giving him any due diligence. A lot of drop balls by the second and third stringers, a lot of solid defensive plays by the second and third stringers as well. But Fields threw, I think, 2 or 3 interceptions today. I think 2 interceptions today. One to Marquis Christian, and then another 2, I'm forgetting the name. But Andy Dalton today was the better quarterback. Fields still did look solid and was able to evade pressure. If it was a live game action, Dalton definitely would have gotten sacked a couple of times, actually probably numerous times based on what I saw. But in terms of how they played today, I'm going to give a slight edge to Andy Dalton. We start all these episodes off by reviewing the quarterback position. But Parth, you were on Twitter today. Obviously, you have a little bit different of a perspective than I do, not being there. And I'm only going to be there one more day before I head back to college. But from what you saw today, from some clips and everything that you were able to gather, what did you think about how the quarterbacks played today?
I felt like, they both were, I guess the defense stepped up heavily, but wide receivers also capped their play. Lots of drops, like you said. It was the sloppiest practice in a while. It's something you don't want to see, especially from the wide receivers right now. You want to see them holding on to the ball, especially guys like Javon Wims, Riley Ridley, who are fighting for position spots on this team. They shouldn't be the ones dropping the ball, actually. For the quarterback play, Andy Dalton, I wasn't able to keep much on Andy Dalton. I feel like people just tweet about Fields more than Dalton, but I know Fields struggled a little bit at times, but he showed his poise and he did recover. He played well at the end of the practice. So that's something to just keep in mind. When someone struggles and just the way rebound, I think Fields shows that rebounding skill that a lot of quarterbacks don't at his age. And for Andy Dalton, I'm pretty sure he just had a solid day and he did his thing. So once again, if Dalton wins practice, I don't think it's a big deal to Coach Nagy. I don't think Nagy cares about who wins in practice. At the end of the day, both of them will probably be getting some valuable preseason reps in the upcoming weeks. So I feel like, will tell us more about the competition more than anything.
Yeah, and you actually touched on something I was going to touch about with Justin Fields, in that whenever he had a bad play, whenever there was an overthrow, whenever there was an errant turnover, he was able to bounce back really well. I didn't see one situation today where Fields didn't bounce back from having a bad play with a good play. And it's also worth noting that Fields easily had the throw today outside of the deep ball from Dalton to Marquise Goodwin. Fields had a bomb to Rodney Adams in 3-on-3s. That was an absolute beauty that Adams went up and caught for a touchdown. And then the last throw of practice, someone who Fields has been connecting with a ton, his name continues to pop up. He put the ball only where Jesse James could get it. It wasn't going to be an overthrow unless James went up to get it. He put it only where James could go get it. James jumped up, high pointed the ball.
Jesse
it was an awesome
James
catch
tight end
right
too?
in the practice. Yeah, we'll see if Jesse James is tight end too. A lot of people I feel like a lot of Bears Twitter either wants Jimmy Graham to be gone or completely dogs on.
I wouldn't want him gone, man. The man had 8 touchdowns last year. That's something that us Bears fans forget really easily. He's a big red zone threat. So, Jimmy G's going to put up his numbers when he's on the field, but so will Jesse James, especially with Justin, because those two have a really good connection going so far.
Yeah, it's nice to see Jesse James playing well, though. A nice addition from Ryan Pace that is really paying off like an Alec Ogletree defensively. But yeah, a couple of drops early on from Riley Ridley. Javon Wims probably had 2 or 3 drops on balls that were placed right in his arms by either Nick Foles or Justin Fields. I think 1 or 2 drops as well from Rodney Adams, and there was a little Twitter debate today on Javon Wims, Riley Ridley, and Rodney Adams on who should stay on the team. I've liked what I've seen out of Adams so far, so I hope he can probably make the cut. But he also had a couple drops today. Overall, the offense was just sloppy. Mike Furry was saying after that they really couldn't even line up in trips because something was going wrong the entire time in practice. And also, Matt Nagy during the practice yelled towards the sideline. I'm not going to swear so we get monetized, but he said this is an S show. So not the greatest day offensively, but Andy Dalton definitely the better quarterback. Let's talk quickly about players that impressed on offense. There's really not much to go over here, but I'm going to bring up 2 running backs that did well today. First and foremost, I'm going to go with Khalil Herbert. He's someone who I've been harping on a lot. He looked really good today. Makes some really quick cuts. I guess overall, offensively, the best positional group for the Bears was the running back position. Damian Williams, nice as a pass catcher out of the backfield. Also had some solid runs on halfback tosses where he got to the outside and was able to get outside the defense. Dave Montgomery had a nasty cutback. But the 2 guys I'm going to highlight are Herbert, who had a couple of nice runs, even got in there, I think, with the first team for 1 or 2 reps and had some really solid runs. He's really patient and waiting for holes, so you always see him pop out when it seems like a play could possibly be over. And then secondly, Artavis Pierce. He was bouncing off of defenders, just staying strong during his runs and getting the most of his reps. I'd like to see those 2 go at it because obviously with Tariq Cohen injured, we're going to see one of those guys take up the running back 3 role. I'm leaning towards Khalil Herbert a little bit right now. I also know that he's probably going to be protected on this roster because he is a rookie. But Artavis Pierce has been making the most of his snaps without a doubt. So Ryan Nall is probably going to be the running back that isn't on this roster past training camp. And we'll see about Artavis Pierce. Maybe he rebounds on the practice squad or maybe he gets that running back 3 spot because they've both been playing really well. But Parth, outside of those 2 and the other running backs, Montgomery and Williams, was there anyone that stood out to you offensively?
No, not really. But I'm just going to add on Herbert. Coach Nagy after the game, after the first preseason game, said that Herbert's really caught his attention. He's very, very smooth. when he gets that football, you can see the burst he has. Nagy has said some very high praise for Herbert over the past couple of weeks, and I can see the Khalil Herbert getting a role on this offense. Whether that's some valuable third downs, he can run, and he has a good motor in him, and I enjoy watching him too. So I'm excited to see what Herbert has in store. Obviously, he's young, and David Montgomery and Tariq Cohen are ahead of him in the depth chart. It's gonna be tough to beat those two guys out, obviously, especially with Cohen's speed and Monty's, I guess, just everything about Monty. But Herbert's definitely going to be able to find himself some valuable reps, I feel like, during the season.
Yeah, at least until Tariq Cohen's back. That should be very interesting. Now let's talk about the impressive players on defense. There was a ton of them today. Jaylen Johnson had a pick 6 and another interception yesterday. He was really the star on defense, but a little bit quieter of a day today for the Bears cornerback 1. I'm going to go with 2 players. First and foremost, Marquis Christian. It's really going to be a battle between him and Tease Tabor for the last safety spot, it seems, in Chicago. Tabor had an interception yesterday on Justin Fields. Today, Marquis Christian responds with a really nice couple of passes defended and then a diving interception on what was a nice ball. Justin Fields, I believe, was looking for Chris Lacey, and Christian got in there and picked that one off. The takeover bucket came out. That was nice to see. Someone vying for a roster spot stepping up, and then someone who's vying for a starting spot, Kendall Vildor, was also really solid today. I gotta say, he had a couple of really nice passes defended, and it seems like whenever the ball went his way, whether it was Dalton or Fields, because he was mixed in between the first and second team reps, whenever a pass was going his way, he was either contesting it or it fell incomplete. So a good day for those two in the secondary. And then one up front that I have to mention. I mentioned earlier that Andy Dalton probably would have been sacked a couple of times if the Bears were allowed to tackle in this practice. And 99% of that reason was because Khalil Mack was getting in there a ton. He was forcing a lot of pressure today, specifically on Andy Dalton. It probably would have been a little bit of a worse day for Dalton if Mack was allowed to finish on some of those plays. It's a little bit weird with how the Bears call sacks in practice, because it's kind of he said, she said. If there's enough pressure and the quarterback doesn't have the ball out, someone kind of just yells sack and that's it. So Khalil Mack, a good job at forcing pressure today. I liked what I saw of him. But Parth, anyone that impressed you on defense, because they had a pretty good day today?
Yeah, Eddie Jackson actually was playing today. And
he had an interception.
Exactly, on 11-11s versus was it Andy Dalton? So,
completely ball hawked it, like lurked it completely, exactly what we would expect to see out of Eddie Jackson.
And we need to see that from Eddie Jackson this year, because that safety position, that cornerback position is a little thin without Kyle Fuller. So we need Eddie Jackson to get back to his form like he was in 2018 when he had those 6 interceptions, because we need a ball hawk on this defense. I like Jaylen Johnson's ball hawk abilities too, and I would love to see Eddie Jackson at least get back in the interception column, especially because he didn't have any last year, I think.
Yeah, Eddie Jackson, I believe, with the most defensive touchdowns since he entered the league a couple of years ago. Let's see if he can get back on.
Let's see if he can get called back. So it's just how it is.
Well, we'll see if he can get back on the board this year. He only had one, I believe, last year on a fumble forced by Robert Quinn against the Rams, but it should be interesting. And it was nice to see him. I was like, who the heck is number 4? Oh, yeah, that's Eddie Jackson. He changed his number. But let's talk about our overall thoughts after day 15. Definitely a big day for Andy Dalton, I'll say that. I hope when I'm back tomorrow with Zach Rimbos, someone who was just on here a couple days ago who does some great work for us, we'll see a better performance out of the offense. But what I learned today and what I've known for a while is how deep this Bears defense is. We saw second and third stringers defensively making plays, locking down, basically playing sound. So I wasn't too shocked from what I saw out of the defensive group. They are really solid overall, and there's not much more to say. I hope the offense can pick it up tomorrow, but you see the context now behind Justin Fields' comments about how it seems like it slows down for him from time to time. That was taken by the national media out of context a lot, but you got to remember, Chicago's got one of the best defensive units in recent history, and he's going against those guys every day. Even the second and third stringers are still going to bring a problem. Fields is just entering the NFL. It's a lot different ball game than playing against college athletes. So this defense is deep. Sean Desai's doing a good job. I'm looking forward to seeing who makes the roster and whatnot, because there's so much talent on that side of the ball. But that is my final take, I guess, after day 15. Parth, anything to add there?
No, not really. I wasn't there, so it's kind of hard to just add stuff at the end. But you know, you guys are gonna be there tomorrow, so I can't wait to see more updates from you guys. You guys have been killing it, especially you, Chris, the Twitter. I mean, you guys should follow Chris, especially. You're gonna see at least 200, 300 tweets a day from the training camp. No one's better than him. I'll tell you that for sure.
Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow once again. I've been doing coverage each and every day, so check us out on social media if you want the best training camp updates. Even the guys that aren't there in person are still actively tweeting throughout the day. But thank you guys so much for listening into episode number 152 of Uncut. Before you go, do us a favor if you haven't already, drop a like, subscribe, follow, listen, wherever you are. Your guys' support means the absolute world to us. It keeps us going, and we're going to keep posting content each and every day for you guys as long as you keep showing the support. If you want more content, head over to our website. We got it back up and running last week. That's where you can find more Bears columns, articles, and blogs. The link to that is at the top of the description, beareddown.com. We're going to be doing some more giveaways soon, possibly some Bills-Bears tickets this weekend, possibly a Justin Fields jersey in the near future. You can also find us on social media to enter those, see some special guests that we're going to have on the show. We have some special guests lined up in the future for sure. We're going to start getting some reporters, possibly even some players on in the near future before the 2021-2022 season kicks off. You can see you can see sneak peeks of those on our social media, and you can also interact with us and tell us what you want to see. So follow us on Instagram and Twitter at Beared Down. And finally, as Parth said, you can find the links to all of our social media pages down in the description, our Instagram and Twitter pages. They are great follows. It's a great way to interact with us and see our thoughts on all things Bears, NFL, and the entirety of Chicago sports. Parth Shaw, we've gotten in a groove here the last week and a half or so of just posting consistently. It feels good to be back. You're back at school, so I feel like this should probably feel normal for you now, just grinding and recording each and every day. But any last words before we close this one off?
Yeah, no, it feels good to be back. I know we're getting stuff up for you guys, trying to get it up every day, but it's going to be tough at times, especially with school, but we'll try our best to get the most comprehensive coverage on the internet. Like Chris says it all the time. We try to post the most. That's how we set ourselves different from everyone else. So that's about it, and bear down.
Yeah, I think we definitely are students of the game. We know a lot about football, but we aren't essentially masters. We're not going to break down route trees and stuff for you guys and do all that. And we aren't also the type of guys that are casual and kind of just see what's going on and report on that. We want to give you guys our analysis and what we think about all the stuff that's going on and how it's going to factor into the season and build up credibility for ourselves and just keep coming at it, keep pounding with the most comprehensive coverage on the web. So we appreciate your guys' support. Guys, it's been a pleasure to be your host once again. My name is Chris Malpe, and Bears fans, as always, do us a favor and stay safe and bear down. We'll see you in the next one, going back to camp tomorrow with Zach Rimbos, and that's pretty much it for us.